Hello everybody and welcome back to a brand new video on the channel, guys. So what I have for you guys today, I have a sort of like a match preview for the upcoming game that Preston have at the weekend away to Ipswich Town. But it's not just going to be that in this video, guys. Basically in this video I've rolled two videos into one sort of. So the first half of this video will be a preview for Preston's upcoming game, and then the second half of the video will be sort of like going over some of the transfer rumours which are currently linked with Preston at this point in time and giving my opinion on what I think needs to be done for the rest of this transfer window. So for anything that I do post to you guys throughout this video, I'd love to get your guys' opinions on what you think of everything in the comments down below as always. So whether that be your starting 11, what you would go with against Ipswich Town away, your score prediction, as well as that, who would you like to see brought in the rest of this transfer window. So first of all, I'll go with my starting 11 that I think Simon Grayson will go with against Ipswich this weekend. So in goal we have Andres Lindegaard, obviously a bound starter. Now, there has been a little bit of drama going around Lindegaard lately, being that I think him and his wife have just split up, so I'm hoping that won't affect his performances on the pitch. However, if that was to do that, you know, we've got more than capable backup in Chris Maxwell, who I was quite impressed with in the League Cup game. And then the formation I think Grayson will set up with will be a 3-5-2. So the back three I think Grayson will go with will be Tom Clark, Bailey Wright and Greg Cunningham. Now, it's been an interesting one actually because Paul Huntington has just signed a new long-term contract with us. I'd love to get your guys' opinions on this because as well as Huntington, Daniel Johnson's also signed the contract as well. I don't really know what I think of Huntington signing a new contract, really. I think if we are to progress as a club, I know it's harsh, but really, I think there might be better alternatives out there to a championship centre-back than Paul Huntington for a starting 11 place. That's just my opinion, but let me know what you think of Paul Huntington getting a new contract in the comments down below. And then to our wing-backs, we've got Tommy Spurt on the left-hand side. Very impressed with him against QPR. He was putting in a lot of dangerous balls, and in the League Cup as well. I think Tommy Spurt offers quite a lot to this Preston team, and I think he'll be a good addition this year. Then to the right-hand side, we have Chris Humphrey. The thing I like about Chris Humphrey is he gives a balance to the overall team. I think the way he's willing to work back and forth throughout the 90 minutes really does help our team out, especially when we're getting into the last moments of the match. Chris Humphrey's always still willing to make those runs. And in this game, we do expect Ipswich to have quite a bit of the ball, so I think what will help with that, we'll be playing a back five when Ipswich do have the ball. Tommy Spurt and Chris Humphrey are both more than capable of sitting back and holding their position. Then to the midfield three, who else could I put in midfield but John Welsh? He has to be starting in this game. I mean, from what he showed at QPR, he just has to be in this team. He got into the Championship Team of the Week because of his performance against QPR, and I don't think anyone else in our squad can do this role as well as John Welsh does it. I mean, you've got other players that could be tampered with. I mean, going into that position, you've got players like Alan Brown, Ben Pearson, Grimshaw maybe, but I don't think anyone plays this role as a covering midfielder as well as John Welsh does. I think what John Welsh also does, he allows a bit of more creativity and allows a bit more freedom to our other midfielders. So in their roles, I'm going to put Paul Gallagher and Daniel Johnson. So far this season, from what I've personally seen of Daniel Johnson, I didn't go to the QPR match. I've not been overly convinced by his performances so far this season. However, at QPR, I did hear he stepped up his game. And I think Gallagher has to be a bound starter. One player I don't think will be starting this game will be Ben Pringle. He walked off of the League Cup match after about 20 minutes or so with an injury. So I'm not sure if we're even going to see Ben Pringle feature on the bench for this match. That's, of course, whether he's going to be able to get himself back from that injury. But I am hoping for big things in this match from both Daniel Johnson and Paul Gallagher. I think this is a match where they're going to have to step up their game, and I think with the covering in behind Welsh, they really don't have an excuse this time not to perform anymore. Then to the forward two, I have to put the two players who are currently in form in this squad. I've got Jermaine Beckford and Callum Robinson. Now, I am aware that in the League Cup, both Jordan Hugill and Owen Doyle both scored a goal. However, saying that, I don't think they warrant a start just yet over Callum Robinson and Jermaine Beckford with how these two are currently playing together. I mean, against QPR, they were fantastic together, and Beckford was obviously rested for the League Cup match, so he's going to be fresh for this match. Callum Robinson only featured in the second half, so similarly to Beckford, I think both of these will be fresh, and we'll be looking to hit teams probably more on the counter-attack, which is not what we've seen a lot with this Preston side when we played on the Grayson. You know, we've been normally quite a slow team. However, looking at that team, you know, we've got Humphreys' pace going down the right, Callum Robinson and Beckford up front, which I think that could be a positive omen for Preston. And maybe that'll be the way we unlock the door against this tricky away tie to Ipswich Town. So in terms of a score prediction for this match, I'm going to say it's going to be a 1-1. I think it could be a tight match. I would be absolutely buzzing if we managed to get a win in this match, because that would be 3 straight wins on the bounce, including the League Cup, obviously. But that would really set us up and set the tone for the rest of the season, I hope, with obviously more transfers to then come in. However, being more realistic, I am going to say it's going to be a 1-1. I think getting on the score sheet, I'm going to say it's going to be Jermaine Beckford for us. And so that's what I think of my starting 11. So leave it in the comments down below. What is your predicted starting 11 for this match? So now, guys, to talk you through the game from more like the Ipswich perspective, to give you their starting 11, we got Tractor Boys TV to give you their preview of the game from the Ipswich perspective. So So I'll hand over to them now.
Hey guys, how you doing? I'm Elliot from Tractor Boys TV, and today I'm on Ben HD's channel to do a preview of our game at Portman Road against Preston. So I'm going to do start 11 prediction, so let's get straight into it. We'll start with the goalkeeper. We've got to start Bartosz Bielkowski. He was our player of the season last year, and he's our best player by a long shot. We'll play a normal back four. It will be Knudsen at left back, 8. It'll be Berra and Webster at 2 centre backs. Berra's a Scottish international, and Webster will slot alongside him. Right back we'll have our captain Luke Chambers. If we win, you need to stay behind because he runs up to the fans and does a fist pump. 3 in midfield, I think it'll be Douglas, Scouse and Bishop. Douglas, we signed him last year from Brentford. The fans absolutely loathe him. I don't rate him, but he's had some good games this season. Against Norwich he had a really solid game. He's kind of a bad version of our other centre midfielder. And then we've got like 3 attackers. We have like kind of 2 wingers and 1 up front. They all kind of change. But we'll have on the left side, we'll have Grant Ward. We signed him for 750k from Spurs, and he scored a hat-trick in his first game. He only came on at half-time and he scored a hat-trick against Barnsley. He's our most exciting player. He attacks people, he can put across him, he can have a shot, and if we get him on the ball, he will scare the life out of your defenders. So we need to try and get Grant Ward in the game as much as possible. On the right side of midfield, he's a striker, but Freddie sees he's low on confidence. He hasn't scored in a while. We signed him for 100k from Colchester a couple of years ago, and on his day, he's really, really good. Up front, we've got the Irish international, Daryl Murphy. He went to the Euros with Ireland. He didn't really get on the pitch, and that team, if it's firing, can hold one of the best teams in the Championship, as we did against Norwich. We dominated, and that is why I think we're going to win 2-1 with goals from Sears, hopefully, and Bishop. If Sears scores before the international break, that would be fantastic. I hope we get a win before the international break. Put us onto 8 points. We're currently on 5, and that is what I think we'll play against Preston. If you did like the video, give it a like. Also subscribe to Ben HD if you're not. You can come check me out at Tractor Boys TV. It's been a pleasure. Thank you for having me on. I'll see you later.
So thank you very much for them for doing that video. So I think by the sounds of this should be an interesting game in my opinion. So leave in the comments down below how you think this one will turn out for Preston North End. I'd be very interested now. I'm just hoping that we'll be able to carry on this positive form we've got going on at the moment. And I must say as well, make sure you do go subscribe to Tractor Boys TV over on their channel. I did actually make 2 videos over there, so make sure you go check them out. One of them was a preview from my perspective, and one of them was 5 reasons why I think Preston could potentially beat Ipswich this weekend. So I'll leave a link to those videos in the description down below, as well as their channel as well. So now guys, what I'm going to do, I'm going to talk you through some of the transfer rumours which are currently circulating around the club, and I'd love to get your opinion on some of these, as well as that, what do you think needs to be done for the rest of this transfer window? So if I was to give you 2 million right now, who would you realistically bring in to this Preston North End side? The first rumour we have is Ryan Taylor. Now, he is actually training with Preston North End at this point in time. I believe he's on a trial. So last season he was released by Hull City, and before that he spent a large majority of his career with Newcastle United. Now, I'm not doubting this guy's abilities. I think he's a very good player on his day. However, saying that, he's 31 and he's tending to be quite injury prone, so from that aspect I'd see signing Ryan Taylor as a bit of a risk for Preston. I don't think that's something we can afford to do with the current loan market situation. I think it would just be an unnecessary risk. I mean, if it was a last option, I mean, I suppose I'd take him if we didn't get anyone else, but if I was Grayson, I'd be looking in other areas hopefully. So it's another thing I'd be interested to know as well. How many signings do you realistically think Grayson will bring in for the rest of this transfer window? In my opinion, I'm going to say it's going to be 2. I'm hoping for 3, but I've got a feeling it'll be 2. In terms of a striker, Preston have been linked with Fraser Campbell from Crystal Palace on a loan. So this is someone that I'd definitely take at Preston. However, could I see it happening? I think it might be a bit unrealistic, really. I think with the wages he'd be on at Crystal Palace and the percentages that Preston will be willing to pay, I'm not sure if we get this deal over the line. However, saying that, I would definitely take him. I think he'd be an obvious improvement on the strikers we have already at the club, and I think he'd be a good starter alongside Beckford at the club. However, can I see this one happening? In an ideal world, hopefully, but realistically, not so much. Which is quite concerning, really. I mean, at the start of the season, Grayson was adamant to do all of his transfer business early on in the season. And I mean, we brought in about 7 players before the season even kicked off. However, since then, due to circumstances, Preston are in need of probably another 3 players. So this hasn't put Grayson in the best situation. And it hasn't put Preston as a club in the best situation ever. I mean, the later you get on into the transfer window, the more you're ending up to pay for players. And another rumour which hasn't seemed to really go away throughout the summer has been Adam Reach returning to Preston on a loan. Now, there's been a lot of Championship clubs interested in Adam Reach this season, and understandably so with what he showed at North End last year. However, saying that, it's yet to be seen whether Middlesbrough are willing to let Adam Reach go on a permanent deal. So, I mean, there's clubs like Sheffield Wednesday and Wolves which are willing to pay the $3 million, which probably would get Adam Reach away from Middlesbrough. Of course, Preston will be nowhere near in that market. However, if Middlesbrough were to let Adam Reach leave on a loan, I think Preston hopefully will be his #1 club he wants to go to. So yet again, Adam Reach, will I take him? Absolutely, any day of the week. However, do I think we'll get him back? I really don't think so. So for all the transfer rumours going around the club at this point in time, the transfer business that Preston seems to be doing as a club has been quite slow. So I pose the question to you guys again. If you guys had $2 million to spend in the transfer window, and realistically, who would you bring in with that money? I'd be very interested to know. So personally, I'd like to see a right back come in, a striker and a winger. Now, I'm not really too fussed whether they're on loans or permanents. I just think if they're good enough to improve our starting 11 and what we already have at the moment, I'll take them into the squad. So I'd love to get your guys' opinions on that. But apart from that, guys, that will now wrap it up for this video. So if you have enjoyed and would like to see more Preston once again back on the channel, I'd be more than happy to do that for you guys. And the matchday vlogs will be returning very soon. I know we've got a game on the 10th against Barnsley, and then the following Tuesday, I think, against Cardiff. But I will be doing matchday vlogs for those, so make sure you stay tuned for that, guys. But like I said, guys, apart from that, that will now wrap it up for this video. So if you have enjoyed, make sure you leave a like. Also, as well, check out all the links in the description down below. Make sure you go subscribe to Tracked Boys TV, and make sure you follow me on Twitter. I always tweet before I upload a video, therefore you'll never miss a video ever again, guys. But apart from that, thank you so much for watching, and I'll see you all in the next one.